Since YouTube's founding back in 2005, there have been many people who have used the site to express themselves creatively, with it eventually turning into a business for a lot of them. And when people get some sort of popularity on the website, oftentimes they're met with two options. They could continue making the content that got them that popularity in the first place and either die out or live on, or they could start switching things up to hopefully get more success in the long run. And this is the reason why most big YouTubers will change what they make after a certain time period. But sometimes it just isn't as simple as that, and that's where EmpLemon comes in. He's someone who went from two completely different content styles, YTPs to video essays, and he was able to have a lot more success in the long run due to it. But I don't necessarily think that he made this decision for views or something, and it's a bit deeper than that. So for this video, I'm going to go over some of his early content on the platform, his genre switch, and how he's managed to refine his content and survive on the platform for this long. And before anyone asks, yes, this is just an excuse to make a video about a YouTuber I like. Without EmpLemon, I wouldn't be making commentary videos, so to say that he was an important YouTuber to me is an understatement. And with that out of the way, sub to the channel if you like the content, and let's get into the video. Usually when I would start off making one of these sections, I would briefly go over someone's history, then go over why I like their content, then briefly back to the main point of the video, but I'm gonna do things a little bit differently this time. I'm going to be talking about EmpLemon's two styles of content, YTPs and video essays, and I'll talk about the way he made the genre switch, because to me, it's one of the more interesting ways that I've seen a YouTuber pull it off. Firstly, I want to talk about the YTP side of things with him. This genre of videos is something that has been here since the beginning of the website, and I'm sure that everyone watching this has seen one at some point. The ones that I personally remember have to do with SpongeBob and Hotel Mario, but almost any type of media had YTPs made out of them. And EmpLemon himself is one of the most popular creators in this niche. From the early days of his channel to about 2016 or so, he would be making YTPs, and he got a good amount of success due to it. At the peak of his channel in his time period, every video he made got anywhere from a few 100,000 to even 1 million views per video, and he would hit 100k subs in 2015. Considering the niche genre that he was making videos in, the fact that he even hit 100k at all is a pretty big accomplishment, and by every metric, he was a pretty successful YouTuber at the time. But the thing that interested me the most about his early success is the fact that he didn't even have monetization on his channel until about 100k subs, so he was making all these videos that would get millions of views and take hours to make, all for no profit at all, just a passion for making content. And that's pretty appealing to me, though this was most likely due to most of his videos having copyrighted material in it, so it wouldn't have been worth it for YouTube to monetize him at the time anyways. But whatever the reason it was appealing that he was making videos for himself and his enjoyment. But like most YouTubers, this would eventually change. According to Emp himself, he started to make YTP videos that were oriented towards getting views and pleasing his audience instead of what he actually wanted to do. And he didn't like doing this too much, so he switched back to making videos just because he enjoyed it. And some of the people in his audience didn't like it, so some tension would form between these people and him. And he was completely tired of these people, so he made a video called We Need to Talk, essentially lashing out at the people who watch him.
I can tolerate comments complaining about or jokes, whatever. That's based on personal preference and there's nothing I can do about that. But don't you fucking command me to do something like I'm your fucking dog. I don't make these videos for you. If I did, this would be nothing more than another godforsaken boss to answer to in life. I already hear enough of this shit from my teachers, parents, managers, and the government. I don't need people to boss me around about fucking YouTube poops, where the entire fucking purpose is to get away from that bullshit.
And I can get why he would do something like this. It's definitely not something that I would do, as it could just make you look like a complete lolcow depending on how you go about it, but I can understand the frustration with people in your audience complaining about your content changing. And from this point on, he would completely stop making YTPs as his main form of content. His videos became a little aimless for a period of time if I'm gonna be honest, but that's not exactly a bad thing since he was just experimenting. If we fast forward to 2017, he made probably the best decision in his YouTube career. He decided to start making making video essays. And this part is the thing that I'm the most interested in. I don't know what causes someone to go from something as chaotic as YTPs to video essays, but I'm here for it if you can do it well. Because of its previous content, Imp already had a unique editing style to call his own that he could apply to his own videos. And at first, these video essays were a bit rough. Some of these are a bit tough to watch, but I appreciate them since it got Imp to where he is now. But his style was finely tuned over time, and the same thing happened with the scripting. And the result is some of the best videos that I've seen on this platform. I'm just gonna say this straight up, EmpLemon is probably my favorite video essay channel on the platform, and a genre as oversaturated as this one, with everyone trying to take their piece of the pie, including me. Imp still found a way to stand out with his script writing and editing, both of which inspired me to make my own videos. And this is how he survived on YouTube. He was able to evolve his channel to what fit the platform over time, and this is the most important part, made great content. Now, this is a very simple answer and might seem very anticlimactic, especially since my video title is literally clickbaiting about how he survived the platform. Sorry about that. But to make up for this, let me just compare these two styles real quick and how exactly they would both hold up today. So let's start with the YTPs. These are still fairly popular on YouTube. I myself still see some getting recommended to me, and they occasionally still get hundreds of thousands to even millions of views. But here's the problem, copyright. Most YTPs revolve heavily around copyrighted material and thus aren't really profitable. They also seem like they're very time consuming to make, even if what comes out of it is a short video, so that's also an issue. And I would like it if more people would make YouTube videos just because they like them, but the reality of it is that YouTube is a business for the majority of the bigger creators on the website, and nobody makes content just because they like it. They want the views and ad revenue as well. So YTPs aren't really good for the long term. But let's compare this to video essays here for a second. Some of these still rely on copyrighted material, but you can make a much better argument for fair use and are less likely to get claimed. And it appeals to a much wider audience than YTPs do. You can make a video essay on pretty much anything if you put your mind to it. I've seen so many videos on things that I've had no interest in, but I'll watch videos about it in the background or just in general due to the presentation. If you make your video good and the title and thumbnail seems appealing, there's a big chance that you'll get a huge amount of views from it. Not to say that you can't make YTPs out of a large variety of things. I've seen people make them out of even YouTubers themselves before, but even with this in mind, videos like that still appeal to a much smaller audience. Though, even if we put the audience up to the side, I don't even think that Imp does this mainly for views, even now. YouTube is probably his main job at this point, so I'd assume that he does care about it at least to an extent. He needs to get his paycheck after all, but his videos have long gaps between the upload dates usually, with his last video coming out 3 months ago at the time of recording this. And every video he makes still has a pretty high standard of editing and scripting, so I think that he just cares about his videos being good and likes spending time on them. But to wrap up this rambly section before I go off topic on something, EmpLemon survived on YouTube by simply just making the content he wanted to make, and most importantly, making good videos. As simple as that advice is, making good content can do wonders in being successful, even if the results don't show up right away. Anyways, that's all I have for this section. Moving on. Throughout my YouTube career so far, I don't think there's been someone that I've been more influenced by than EmpLemon. His content is just something that I loved when I became familiar with commentary stuff, and something that I still love now. There's a certain amount of creativity that he puts into his videos that isn't exactly replicated by most video essay channels, and that's why his content still appeals to me personally. Hell, my first video that's publicly available on this channel pulled a massive amount of influence from him. Now, I wouldn't recommend that you go and watch this because the video isn't very good, but his style was there. Imp has influenced me for years now, and if not for him, my content would probably be way different. Who knows what direction it would be in right now. So for that, I will always appreciate him as a creator. And with that, I'm done with this video, but before you leave, I have a few updates. By the time I'm editing this, I would have already finished my first video essay on my second channel, and if it wasn't out already before this video came out, then it's out now. I'll put a link in the description in case anyone wants to watch it, and my other social media links are all in the description as usual. And yeah, that's all I have to say. See ya. Oh yeah, one last thing. #FLM.